सबको नमस्ते. So let us take up another couplet from Kabir ji's directory, and it says, "तन को जोगी सब करें, मन को विरला कोय, सहजे सब विधि पाइये, जो मन जोगी होए." So Kabir ji is saying that I have seen many people doing the yoga of the body, even ascetics, like they kind of leave the body at its own accord, at its own place, and do not interfere with its movements. So in time the body may come to rest, or the discipline of the yoga, through which the body finds rest in its own being. But I have never seen somebody, it's rare to see somebody who is the yogi of the mind, who is the yogi of the mind. Now what does it mean when he says yogi of the mind? And if we go to the meaning of the word yoga, it says union, as if something is going back, merging in its source. So it has been united with its origins. So Kabir ji says, "तन को जोगी सब करे, मन को विरला कोय, सहजे सब विधि पाइये, जो मन जोगी होए." It is easy then to find resolutions in life when the mind has found its source, when the mind has dissolved or merged back in its source. Now it doesn't mean that the mind ceases to exist. It just means that the mind knows its home. So let us explore this further. What does it mean by the union of the mind back to its source? We all know that the mind is seeking. There is a continuous seeking that the mind is involved in. And no matter how many years it may have been seeking, or lifetimes, it seems that it never finds absolute rest or peace or contentment in the objects of seeking. So I may feel that I feel rest in a particular situation or with a particular person, but as soon as the person and the situation is taken away, or the book or the video is taken away, the mind is seeking again. What is it that the mind seeks? It's as if it remembers something in its own self. It has a memory or a taste of an absolute peace and rest and silence. And not knowing where to go and find it, it futilely, in futility, it searches for years and years in the objects of sense perceptions in order to find that rest. But it never finds it. It seems that the rest comes when a particular person, situation, book, video may be there. But it is only temporary. It just fades away, as if it was just masked, and then it appears again. And why a restless mind is a misery, we all know, we have tasted that. And the world, most of our world, all the situation in the world, we know that is coming out of the seeking mind. A mind that wants to fulfill itself through objects and persons and situations and money and ambitions and all that. But it never gets there. So it is urgent for each one of us to know how would the mind come to rest. Because it's only a mind coming from that rest which can take right actions. It's only a mind coming from its true home, knowing its way back home and coming from its true home, that it can find right decisions, or decisions which are good for each one of us, decisions which are not hurtful and harmful for each one of us and for one's own self. So that's why it's our responsibility to trace our way back home. And when I say trace our way back home, it seems that we have come far away, but it's not like that, because who we truly are, the source of the mind, is here. So I don't have to go anywhere in order to, the mind does not have to go anywhere in order to come back home. The mind just has to withdraw for a moment from all the objects of external sensing perceptions, and it has to turn inwards. The mind has to ask itself, where am I coming from? The moment mind asks this question, where am I coming from? And if one follows that inward going, the mind is absorbed and annihilated for some time in its source, which is pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure knowing. I just know, I am. And there is no label and images on that I am. Not I am this and I am that and I am a girl and I am a boy and I am a human being. Not that. I just am. And in that source, when the mind annihilates, when the mind is dissolved and merged back into its source, it finds rest. So mind's rest is in its annihilation. And it's very important for the mind to be at its source, as if the wave is merging back into the ocean. Now the wave may rise again. Obviously, living in the world, the wave will rise again. But now when the wave rises again from this restful ocean of the being, the action that it will take, the decision that it will take, will be of a different quality than the mind which is totally entangled and in confusion and in chaos all the time and taking decisions from there. So it seems that we have to really slow down in life. We have to really find more moments basking, immersing ourselves in this source of the mind, from which the mind originates, from which the wave originates. And when the restful being now gives birth to another wave of mind, it rises up again in order to know objects, persons, situations, all the things that go about in the world. Now this mind has a different quality. This mind is all alone in itself. It had a lot of time to be all alone in itself when it was not even there. In the merging of the mind in its source. And that quality, that richness, that fullness of aloneness, when that goes back again in the world, it always has a different quality. So then it becomes almost our birthright and a responsibility to give this gift of dissolution of mind back into its source again and again, again and again. Because mind is so, the old habits of the mind are so hard, ingrained habits, that the mind is abusive in its thinking. It goes on and on and on and on. So as if the wave, takes out from the ocean, not out, it is just in the ocean. All the play is happening in the ocean itself, the ocean of the being. But when this mind is totally entangled in the objects of sense perceptions, then it actually becomes restless, because rest is its true nature. Resolution and peace is its true nature. So it's important for the mind then to again and again trace the steps back home and then rise from that stillness and silence within the being. So that is just a few layers of reflection, and I'm sure there would be so much more to it. Thank you.